Hi Brian. So sorry I hadn't posted this sooner, but I tried to post a 30-minute video yesterday, and I guess Camtasia just doesn't like doing 30-minute videos. It just wasn't rendering it. So I usually have problems with it. So I'm just gonna do a couple of 10-minute videos. They need to get done anyway, so don't worry about it. So first of all, I created a new branch. I'll tell you why I created a new branch, because I actually had a much more stable version of this Karma jQuery RequireJS seed that was on a different machine, and it has the unit test running and the application. But either ways, the system runs kind of the same way. So the folder structure is a little different. I think it's a little tighter and it makes more sense. So I'll show you how that goes. So if you want to create a new controller, and I've already created one here. Let me close the door real quick. Okay, so in order to create a new controller, you can follow any of the example. Well, the example controller is probably the easiest, but I think this main controller is also pretty easy. So you can just basically do a copy and paste. So you would just do this, new, and you would say, let me show you. Right click on the controllers folder, click new. If you have WebStorm, click JavaScript file and then select AMD, and then name the controller file second example controller. Alright, that should be good. And click OK, and that'll just create the define block. So anyways, usually the thing you want to do is you want to create a variable, so var, and then you'll set it to a function. Okay, and then the reason we do this is because we need to inject stuff into it. So anytime you need to inject anything, you need to use the Angular inject method and use an equals and pass and set it to an array. So in this case, you always have to pass the scope. And if you have any services like timeout, or you want to pass the HTTP service, you put them all in there. Or even if you have a service that you created, like I have a service I've already created. So example service or gallery service, so I could put just my example service. All the Angular services are prefixed with a $sign. But once I'll show you how to wire up a regular, like a service, if you want to create one too. So anyways, that's how you do it, and you just make sure you include them up here. Scope, timeout, let's see, HTTP, and example service. Alright, then you would just create your code. Oh, and then you would return this. So return, there you go. And that's pretty much it. And then you can create your scope dot my model equals hello world. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now you just got to tell the application that, hey, I have this new controller. So inside of the controllers folder, there's a controllers.js file, and in there, you just do this. You require it, like saying it's in the controllers folder under that. And then you just do this, controllers.controller, and then the name of the controller, and then that, like that. Oh, forgot to add it in here. And now it'll run. That's it. Now to run the application, just open up the index.html file. If you want to use a controller now as well, so you can create a new div or something, and then call data ng controller equals, and now you'll have access to it. Oh. Now you'll have access to it. So anything in here you can do. What was the name of the model? My model. And we'll say, instead of hello world, we'll say, here we are. Yeah, there we go. And so now I already have this application in here. You should see it pop up. There you have it. That is it. And so, I mean, you can add whatever you need to in here. So another service you might want to include is the route provider. So $. I mean, any service you want to include, you just enter it into the inject array, and then make sure you also put it inside here as an argument to this controller function. Okay, and you can, so like if you wanted to load some information via HTTP or XHR, I should say, then you might want to scope dot other model equals HTTP, and then do whatever you need to do in there, and that's it. Okay, so unit tests. If you want to create a unit test, I think I have enough time. I don't want to go over 10 minutes because sometimes Camtasia, the recording software that I use, starts acting funny over anything if I record anything over 10 minutes. So anyways, let's get going. So really, you just find the controllers directory in the spec, and you basically just create it. Copy one of these, Control-C, Control-V, and second example controller. And then it needs to be suffixed with spec, so a second example controller spec.js. And there we have it. Our so then you can just let's see, turn that off and rename all of this, include the right controller, always include the Angular mocks. You can just follow one of these examples. I'm going to get into unit testing a little bit more in the next video. But now you know how to create a controller. The next video I'll show you how to create a directive, which is pretty much the same process. So I'll leave it here for now, and I'll create another video.